What's up, old Powerhouse crew? Today we're going from wire, let's go synthetic. So y'all sit right there, let me show you how it's done. Let's go. So the first thing we need to do is get that wire cable off the drum. Grab your clutch. Looks like I had a little pressure on that rope, didn't I? So now we got that done. Pull her out, loosen it up. I'm gonna take off the D-rings. That's funny. Make it think it's haunted or something. That's creepy. Ooh. Now, pull the rope off the drum. Now, depending on how your winch is set up, you may have like a bolt screw, something like that, into the side of the drum. Some of them have a hole into the drum that the cable feeds into. So that's something you have to assess on your particular setup. On mine, I just got to take out that Phillips head screw and the cable is out. Now we got a bunch of cable laying in the middle of the driveway. Before you call me out in the comments about pulling it with bare hands, this is a brand new cable, so I'm not worried about the little cable individual fibers or what you call it sticking out and stabbing me. This is a brand new cable, and so I don't have to worry about that. Those of you out there who's running an old cable, it's been used a million times, and you're switching over to a new wire cable, or you're going synthetic, wear gloves when you pull that cable right there, because it will stab you and it will hurt. Protect those hands. Now that we got the wire cable off, let's see how much that thing weighs. That'll allow us to calculate our weight savings. Hang it by the loop. $19.3 pounds. There you go. Now let's hang the synthetic rope and see what it weighs. There we go. $4.25 pounds. Now that's a good weight savings right there. Let's weigh one more thing. Here we have the fairlead for the rope. For the synthetic, turn around the right way. 1.35 pounds. Now, as you can see down here, I've still got the roller fairlead still mounted. We're taking that off next. For me, that's 9/16, both sides. Depending on how yours mounted, it can be a different size. So assess your own situation. Now, my washers are just a tad too big to fit in there, so I'm gonna put them on a belt sander, knock them down a little bit until they fit inside the hole. When you're doing synthetic rope, there's one thing you want to be sure of. Your rope's coming off the bottom of the drum, coming across your fairlead right here. And you got this nice smooth surface for it to ride on. But, other side. Right here on your mount, you want to be sure that's fairlead here. And your mount edge, there's a lot of distance between it. Meaning, if you're only about the surface of this is only 1/8 inch above that, when your rope comes off your drum, it's a little bit of an angle like this right here. So if this edge is just barely below the surface here, you're going to be raking on that edge. So right now I'm looking like I got well over 1/4 inch of clearance between the surface of this and the edge of that. So I am totally good. So be sure you check that if you need to. Take your grinder or something like that and drop that edge down if you need to. But just be sure to check it before you tighten everything up. Now that we got the Hall's fairlead mounted for the synthetic rope, and now we can see what the roller fairlead weighs. Hang that baby on here. I said hang that baby on here. Come on now. There we go. You're 9.53 pounds. Big difference. Now it's time to start mounting the synthetic rope. So the original screw that come out of the winch is not long enough to make it through this. So I'm tapping it for 1/4 20 so I can have the right size bolt to run into the drum to hold this in place. Yay, fun. Kind of cramped back there, but somebody would say, well, won't you take off the fairlead mount? Well, the nuts are down inside on the other side, and on top of this right here. No, I ain't taking all that apart again. So I just cram my hand back inside there, tap that for quarter 20. So there's my quarter 20 screw. It's basically a little pan head that I kind of modified a little bit. I flattened it out a little bit more, tapered the sides so I wouldn't have any chance of catching the rope. But it's gonna work out pretty good. Now what I'm about to do is gonna cause some of you to lose your mind, but just bear with me, okay? Now I've got my winch turned on inside the Jeep, so I'm gonna take my bump switch, and by hand I'm gonna wrap the rope on the drum. So I'm just wrapping it by hand right now. Once I get the rope on the drum, I'm gonna go up to the farm, strap this thing to a tree and pull it tight. The red wrap right here, some of you may not know, that's your, oh crap, I'm about to run out of rope wrap. So as you're feeding it out, you start seeing red coming off the drum, hit your brakes. We're making progress. Yeah, right there's why you put it on your drum by hand first. Then take it somewhere and wrap it up tight. Yeah, I know I could have untangled it before I started all this, but that would require me to have a smart moment, and two, I live in the middle of a subdivision. It ain't like I got a bunch of property to stretch it out on, you know? So anyway, it'll get done. Stretch some cable. Appears like this one's quite a bit longer. I need to back up some more. So before we start actually making the pull, I'm going to snug up the cable a little bit. I guess I ain't either. Ignition's on. Winch activate. So backed up, got the line kind of stretched out. Before we start actually making the pull, let me give it a little bump to snug up the rope. Okay, we're starting to pull the Jeep now. Let me kick it out of gear and we'll start making the pull. Out of gear. Again, double check out of gear. Start her up. Get my remote. Hold there for longer than a second. Little red light comes on right there. Oops, wrong way. Pull her good and tight. Look on the drum. See how much more tighter it is versus hand wrapping it. Stacking good. Keep on going. You know, I'm kind of curious. This synthetic line is quite a bit longer than the cable I had on it, the wire cable. So I'm going to pace this off real quick and kind of give me an idea of how much longer this is. I'm going to run it on back. Here I'm starting to run the red out, so I'm going to leave it as is and walk it off. So let's get back to wrapping this baby up. If y'all remember from the past video that I had a problem with my ground issues and that it was coming through the e-brake cable, just for kicks and giggles, let's check it again. There's my e-brake cable. Not even warm. Check my volt gauge, see what's pulling. Let it recover for a moment. Yeah, it don't like that. So I'm not going to bore you guys to death pulling this cable, so I'll check back with you guys in just a few minutes. So I stopped pulling and turned the engine off for a minute so I could talk to you. Remember I mentioned earlier about where the rope comes off the bottom of the drum that comes across the aluminum fairlead here, and there's that metal edge. I can just see, I can't stick my pinky under it. But so yeah, that means even under load, I've got plenty of clearance so the rope don't hit that edge. And once you get it very close enough, don't get your hand caught up in there. Get that sleeve going in. Dang it, get in there. Right through. The one thing that's worth mentioning is that when I first put this rope on by hand, I was hitting my control box like right there on the hooks, and it was getting really close up inside there. So when you got your winch rope really tight, it's going to give you more clearance. That's one of the things you got to watch out for. So whenever you're removing cable, putting on rope or something like that, that you're limited by these bars or sometimes even your control box by how much rope or cable you can install on your drum. That's definitely one of the things you're going to do research on whenever you buy new cable, new rope, or whatever it is you want to run on your winch. How much you can accommodate, how much linear footage, but also the diameter of your rope or even cable. The larger diameter your rope is, the less linear footage you're going to be able to put on your drum. Now I'm sure someone out there is going to ask me, hey, what's the brand of that rope? I really don't know. Much like the winch itself, when I was on board with the Oxbeam several years ago about my lighting and stuff like that, they had a spin-off company called Oxmart for a short period of time. I don't know if it still exists. The whole Oxmart thing, I have no idea if it's still even a thing. But the Oxmart was selling like, winches, rope, the fairleads, angry grills, I mean, all kind of random stuff like that. So they sent me a winch and the rope and stuff like that to say, hey dude, try this right here out, make a video with it, enjoy it, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that, man, that's pretty cool. The winch arrives in a cardboard box, but is packaged with that molded styrofoam. The winch wasn't completely encased in foam. It was just a little tiny blocks of foam that was supported here, supported there. Dude, you take a winch that heavy and ship it from who knows where to where I'm at in Tennessee, it ain't gonna survive. And it didn't. It busted my controller all to pieces, all kinds of stuff that was inside the box. I mean, yeah, it was free, no big deal to me. So along with the winch, they sent me the synthetic rope as well. And for those of you who talk smack about my bump switch isn't that thing right there. What if the stick flies up and it hits it? Come on, show you something. If you've been paying attention to the other video, you'd seen this. Look. The winch is now turned off. Easy fix. Now, if you have enough room to stretch out your rope before you wrap it tight on your drum, you should do that. Otherwise, do like I did. Put it on by hand, take it someplace where you can, and wrap it up tight. So everyone, if you enjoyed that video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave us cool comments down below. Peace. Later, y'all.